wanted to talk to you today a little bit about the foraging toys that I make and have available for sale on our website at fundamentallyfeline.com, and explain how you can get the most out of them and use them from all the way from the beginner stages up to what I call Kitty Einstein. And that's basically the most challenging foraging toy that you could offer your cat. So I like to start with this little cup. This foraging cup is really nice and versatile. It's available with 1 or 2 holes in large or small size holes. The large hole sizes are generally going to be for treats, dental kibble, hairball diets, and then the small hole foraging toys that we offer are going to be more for maintenance or prescription diets. So you generally want to start with a toy that is lightweight and rolls easily and is pretty clear so the cats can also see, smell, and hear the food rattling around inside the toy. And the nice thing about the foraging cup is that you can actually lay it on its side if the cat's a slow starter and allow them to extract the food with their paw initially. And then after a few days of doing that successfully, you can add the lid, and then they're like, got stuff out of there yesterday, what's the deal? And then they start to push it with their paws or nudge it with their nose and get the food to actually dispense from the holes the way, of course, it's intended. But the nice thing about the cup is that you can break it down and make it really, really easy for that slow starter. So similarly, the Foraging Toy Starter Kit is a 3-hole tube. I have friends and clients who play tennis, and I basically make these tubes at no charge for people. And we fill it with eggs, and that can be a really, really seriously increased challenge. But initially, they're 3 separate toys in one. So you've got a lightweight, clear, easy rollable tube with multiple holes for the food to dispense from, and you have these foraging eggs, which are opaque, so that creates a little bit more of a challenge. They no longer have the visual cue. They have to go by scent and learned behavior. They're available in 2 different hole sizes, the large and the small hole. And their erratic movement really keeps the cats moving. If you've got a hardwood floor, these eggs are going to keep them busy. Sometimes you also end up having to pull them out from under the furniture, and we call that foraging for humans. Get them back out onto the playing field. But like I said, you can fill the eggs, place them back inside the tube, close it up, and now you have a very challenging food puzzle for that master forager in your household that really needs to be challenged and work more diligently at their puzzles. So as we go down the line, we get to what I call the gear toys, and these toys are nubby. They're bumpy, so they get hung up and they don't roll quite as well. So that in itself can create a bit of a challenge. And you can also, for the big one, the extra large one, as you can see, that's pretty heavy. So weight also becomes a challenge for these cats. So just that alone by itself can be quite the puzzle. But for that master forager in your life down the road, you can place the foraging egg filled with food inside and a foraging ping pong, place it inside, and now you've got what I call a double stuffed master forager toy. So the nice thing about these toys is that they're versatile and they have interconnecting qualities, so anything that you purchase that's easy can be made more challenging down the road. So similarly, we go back over to the ping pong balls, and they're great because they're really small. If you've got a cat that's on a diet and you want to give them a lot of frequent small portions, you've got the perforated holes, which creates aroma, and the cats can even hook their nails into the holes and kind of shake out the food, which is pretty cool to see. And they can later be placed inside the foraging gear and made harder down the road. So an easy toy now becomes a double stuffed challenging toy. Same goes for the Wiffle Ball. We only have 1 large hole for the kibble to dispense from. This toy is only available in a large hole for obvious reasons. The small hole kibble would fall out of every hole. But again, you've got the aroma factor that works with this toy, as well as the ability to hook their nails into the toy and kind of shake out the kibble. This toy pretty much functions on its own as far as my products, but it can be coupled up with other products for an increased challenge, some of the commercially available toys, and I'll show you that in just a bit. So lastly, we have the cubes. We get over to the cubes, and a cube on itself is a harder toy. A lot of cats on a hard surface will do a lot of this, pushing it around, and it can be a little frustrating. So when you first introduce a cube-shaped toy, I recommend that you put it on a carpet so that there's a little bit of pile and a little bit of lift, and the cats will learn to flip the object, like so. And then once they get the hang of it, they can do it on any surface. But oftentimes when you initially offer a cube, you want to do so on a carpeted surface. But down the road, as you might imagine, oh, and we have assistance. Hello, Tonka Beans. Tonka doesn't want to be in the film, I guess, so he's just gonna move on. Come on, Tonka. So you can fill the ping pong ball, place it inside the cube, and now you have a Master Forager foraging toy, which Tonka has been doing since he was a young tot, so he doesn't find this challenging at all. So that's how you can utilize our line of food puzzles to increase the difficulty. But a couple of things to note with regards to doubling up the toys. You don't want to take an object like this and put an egg inside it and have that egg constantly roll over the hole, because that double stuffed toy is never going to dispense any food, and that's not nice. So you want to make sure that whatever you're double stuffing it with, the food can successfully make its way out of the toy eventually. So what I usually do for the Foraging Cup is I'll take a small egg and a ping pong, and they stagger nicely. So as they're whittling it around, they have to get the food out of the egg, out of the ping pong, then out of the cup. And because of the stagger of those two objects on the inside, that tends to work pretty nicely. So just be mindful of what you double stuff the toys with. Another way to double stuff is to simply dummy fill the objects. And that can be done with just some ping pong balls, or maybe some weights, or some paper, crinkled up pieces of paper. You can take any balls or mice or other toys that your cats aren't interested in playing with anymore and put them inside a foraging toy so that there's an obstacle in the way that doesn't always allow the food to easily make it to the opening. So you can just get creative about what you put inside these to make the foraging game more challenging. So now I want to show you a little bit about how the toys that I make can actually complement some commercially available toys to increase the challenge for your Master Forager. This is a toy called the Kibble Nibble. And one thing that I like to do for my cats is take my foraging wiffle ball, stuff it full of food, put it inside the Kibble Nibble. Now, we have a pretty challenging object. That's going to keep your cat busy for a while. So that is a lot of fun, and again, a great way that the toys that I make don't have to be used alone. They can be coupled with other commercially available products to make the game more challenging. Similarly, my Foraging Gear Toy, I actually have inside here 2 little balls from a company called Our Pets. They're stuffed with food and placed inside the foraging gear for an increased challenge. I think our table is about to be dive bombed by a cat. Foraging toys always bring the cats to you, since they definitely enjoy it and they know that kibble's coming when they hear the toys rattling around. So this is actually a little freebie toy that I make out of a household container, and it's actually a Crystal Light container. It's a little weathered, we've had it for years. But I fill the foraging ping pong balls and place them down inside. So now I have a unique shaped object that's oval, so the hole is only on that one side, and the kitties have to whittle and work at it quite a bit to get the food to come out of the ping pongs and then out of that one single hole. They often don't get every single piece of food out of this one, so that's a pretty good doubled up object. Another fun thing to do is to remember the use of stationary food puzzles. This is called the Cat It Digger, and I will fill my ping pong balls and drop them down inside the wells. So now the cats have to spin the ball to get the kibble to come out and then extract it from the well, or what a lot of times they'll do is they will spin that ball and they'll get their nail hooked in one of the holes and they'll pick that ball up and then get it rolling around the house. Either way, it just adds an extra step to the foraging game for that cat and can increase the challenge. Similarly, the Trixie Pet Tunnel Feeder is an awesome beginner foraging toy. Very simple. You can actually just put the food right around the lip to get the cat started if they're really not getting it and really not engaging with the toy. But as you may have guessed, our friend the ping pong ball can increase the challenge. Fill the ping pongs, drop them inside the wells of the tunnel feeder, which will encourage the cat to have to spin the ball to get the kibble out of the ball and then extract it from the well. So there's a lot of ways that the toys that I utilize and make that can complement other objects. This is a Talente gelato container, another freebie that I like to make and give away to my clients. But as you can see, I have added one of these little simple foraging balls and one of my ping pong balls to it to double stuff it and make that game really tough. There you go, Finn. You want to push it around for us? Show us how it's done. So that's some of the ways that you can utilize our foraging products, not only by themselves, but in conjunction with commercially available toys.